The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by SIDEBAR, its guests, callers, and advisors are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR, a 103.5 TheBeat podcast, is a production of IlTV Studios and may not be reproduced or represented, in part or in its entirety, without the express written consent of Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR is the intellectual property of Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
Welcome to SIDEBAR 103 TheBeat podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and today we have with us Dr. Victoria Hutcheson. She is a chiropractor.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. What is a chiropractor?
A chiropractor is a healthcare professional who focuses on the function and movement of the body with a holistic approach. So hands-on, no medicine, no surgery. We focus on the spine, which essentially can also play effects on the nervous system. And that's aligning the spine, relieving tension, relieving pain, basically focusing on the overall health and wellness of the body and movement of the body.
All right, so you guys deal specifically with the back, or
no?
Because when you say the spine, right? I mean the spine also includes the neck.
Yeah.
But I mean, are there other body parts, or is it specifically the vertebrae?
No, it's not. It's specifically vertebrae. We deal strictly with bones and muscles. But no, not specifically the back. You have patients who come in for TMJ issues, which is the jaw. Patients who come in with
what's TMJ?
The jaw. So temporomandibular joint.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. We have patients who come in with migraines. I have some parents who bring their kids in who are autistic, just to help decrease the sensitivity because the nervous system is firing so fast in those who have autism. So there's a number of different things that patients come in for. It's not strictly back pain or neck pain, and sometimes it's not pain at all that brings them into the office.
All right, so I want to get into that. But before we get into specifically, because I'd like to figure out like how would a chiropractor help with a migraine. But why would you, we were talking before, and you were saying that you took several bachelors before you decided to
be
a
a
specialty.
chiropractor.
Right.
Correct.
So why would you decide to go into something like this? Like, you say this is the holistic approach to medicine or medical
health, right.
As opposed to like something like surgery or general practitioner.
I originally wanted to be a podiatrist. I was going to podiatrist school and everything, and one day I went to shadow podiatrist and I saw a diabetic foot, very bloody, very much not for me. So at that point I realized, as much as I want to be in the healthcare field, blood and the actual rawness of it is not for me. So after doing research, I found chiropractic. I also was starting to hear a lot of stories of people who had success with chiropractors after being in motorcycle accidents or after having migraines. I also experienced a lot of migraines myself. So after going to the chiropractor, I had success with that. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. That's something I want to do.
Yeah. Now, so, and you kind of have to blame television for this. Yeah. A lot of people, they're like, chiropractors aren't real doctors, right? I mean, they also say about dentists, but dentists give out drugs. So, we're willing to look past that. So, but with chiropractors chiropractics,
chiropractics.
Right. Persons don't feel, they feel like you may be just a glorified masseuse. All right.
Correct. I do get that. We have a lot of questions. People also think it's very risky, it's not safe. One thing I always tell patients is if it wasn't safe or if there was a risk, your insurance would not cover it. So the fact that chiropractic is covered by insurance companies alone should be something to give you peace of mind and say, hey, okay, maybe it's not what I thought it was. I think it's also the job of us chiropractors to enlighten the public on what chiropractic is, because a lot of people are scared of things they don't know. Even when I have patients come into my office for the first time, they're scared. Oh, is it going to hurt? What's the cracking sound? So education is something that's going to help inform people more on chiropractic, make it something that they're less scared of, make it less taboo. But chiropractors do go through a lot of training. Like I told you, I have 4 degrees. The 4 degrees were not necessary for my degree, but we do go through figure straight in, just like medical school. Even though we don't prescribe medicine, we do also learn about medicine, just because we do have to know how to treat the patients. So there are a lot of similarities in the training between chiropractors and medical doctors.
Right.
Just no surgery, no medicine.
Right. And so as a Bahamian and working and practicing in the Bahamas, you say that sometimes people are like, oh, it's going to be painful, but just generally, did you find when you first started doing it a difficulty in convincing people about the practice in general, or was it like there were people who already knew what it was and they're like, okay, great? Or were other doctors recommending persons to you for stuff?
Okay, so when I first started, luckily I was able to start in the office with another chiropractor. So beginning, my initial patients weren't my patients. It was more so me shadowing. So they got used to my face, used to me being in the office. So when I first started, I didn't have to do the informing of my patients. They were already established patients and I was just treating them. So that was a plus for me because, like I told you before, I am very shy. So me having to try and convince you, hey, this is what chiropractic is, especially being so fresh, would have been a bit intimidating. But luckily, I didn't know how to do that. I had an amazing mentor, Dr. Dwight Marshall, and he really helped guide me.
He's that's the north part. Dwight, he's the doctor off of Bay Street. Right?
Yes, St. Albans Drive.
Yeah.
No, not St. Albans Drive.
Not Albans, not far.
Virginia Street.
Yeah, somewhere
Virginia
around
Street.
There. Okay, yes. Go ahead. He's a part of Genesis.
Yes.
Right. Continue.
So he helped a lot with making me the chiropractor I am today. Like I said, he took me under his wing and really helped me to get comfortable in the field, especially, like I said, with it being such an unfamiliar profession, just helped me to basically figure out how to maneuver throughout the profession.
Yes. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to dive deeper into, I guess, the practice itself, what it entails, and let's answer some of the questions that people might have about it.
Got you.
So you're listening to Sidebar, one of the TheBeat podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Carry commercial vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Carry Cargo Van and the Carry Elephant Truck, and soon flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
Hi, Ben. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
Welcome back to Sidebar on 103 TheBeat podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, today with Dr. Victoria Hutcheson, chiropractor for Island
Chiro.
Okay, I was like, I thought it said choice. I couldn't see.
Chiropractor.
Right.
Got you.
I got you. So, when we first came in, I feel like, you were making fun of me for being old because my neck made a noise. I just assumed that's just from me being old, all right? And you're like, oh, we need to talk about that. I don't know that part. All right. Is that not a normal thing to happen where your joints are supposed to make an audible noise?
Okay. Sometimes they do. However, sometimes what people also tend to do is extend the spine and do things to force those joints to make noise, thinking that it's the right thing, and it's not.
Does it not? I mean, sometimes it relieves pressure.
It does relieve pressure, but what you essentially do is you use one bone to move another bone. So you might feel a little bit of relief right then, but you don't know the side effects of what you've done because you've now gone and removed another bone to place, not necessarily fixed where you thought the issue was. And so it can be a chain reaction. People don't understand the importance of the spine. Literally every nerve in your body is housed in the spine and exits the spine. So one wrong crack or a twist and you're going to pinch nerve and...
That is not how I crack my neck. I'm not going to show you because I'm being...
Yeah, we ain't doing
that.
Now you crack your knuckles. If you want to crack your knuckles and your toes and your knees, or if you stretch and you hear a popping sound, and that's fine. But you doing it to yourself, or when people say they let their kids stand on their back and walk, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
All right. Okay.
Please.
So, human beings have existed for millennia, right? And in all of the 10,000 years of recorded human history, you don't really have any chiropractors, and then suddenly now we have chiropractors. How do we know that this isn't just a situation where people getting weak and soft from modern life, as opposed to, as opposed to this being an actual thing?
So you asking, how do we know that
it's real? Like what?
I don't understand the question.
Yes.
Okay. So spinal manipulation actually has been around for centuries. Obviously, it has modernized with time. As we learn more about the body, we can do things differently and specify certain things. But it has been around for ages. I think another reason why chiropractic has become more popular is because as humans, we've modernized as well. There's a lot of things that we didn't do back then that we now do. For example, even traffic. You sit in your car for longer periods of time now than we did back in the day. There's a lot of traffic. Our phones, we are always leaning over in our phones. Our phones weigh about 10 to 12 pounds. So with each degree you lean over.
Normal size.
And some Bahamians, they got the 50 pounders and stuff. So the more you have your head forward, the more pressure it is on your shoulders and neck because your head is heavier and now the shoulders have to carry more weight. So with that being said, as we as humans evolve, obviously the way we treat our bodies and take care of our bodies have to evolve as well. And then as time goes on, we learn more about new things. For example, we always have new medication coming out. We have new diagnoses coming out. We have new ways to go about treating certain issues coming about. So yes, it might be relatively new, but that does not mean that it's not something that genuinely works, or it's not something that is just a new trend, or
it's made up like how people have allergies.
Right.
Nobody was allergic to peanuts 100 years ago. Or maybe they were.
I mean, maybe they were. Maybe something different in the peanuts. Now that we were not.
The ghost killed them. That's what we'd say. So with that said, all right, what are some good, I guess, back health practices? Because the only thing I can recall is when you're young, people say, "Oh, don't mess up your back lifting like that," or like, I mean, you'd hear some people say use your legs,
right?
But other times people are like, "Oh, you get Bosun," more so than anything else,
right?
So, but like, what are some good practices for your spine so that you don't damage it, or at least you could minimize
to prevent injuries?
Right.
Okay, so the main, like you said, posture is going to be very important. Being mindful of your posture, so trying to sit upright and maintain the normal curves in your spine. Obviously, sometimes life happens and you just have to sit and stuff, but try to be mindful to maintain the neutral posture. Staying hydrated is also very important. I know people say, oh, water is so important, but water really and truly is important. The vertebral disc in our back, they actually are made mostly of water. They are fluids. So when we are dehydrated in our bodies, that in turn can lead to the disc being dehydrated. So they can't absorb the shock of the everyday actions. Right. So hydration is important. Sleep is also very important because when we sleep, that's when our bodies heal. A lot of people like to sleep on their stomach, and that is actually the worst way to sleep because when you're on your stomach, what you have to do, put one hand to the side so you straighten your neck while you sleep. Another thing is your body's going to sink into the back, putting pressure on those discs in your back again. So I always tell my patients, either sleep on your back or on your side. When on your back, you're going to put a pillow behind your knees and then also a pillow or even roll up a towel and put it in the curve of your neck.
Where you get all this stuff from?
In your house.
Multiple pillows?
Regular pillows. Like you could even use a towel. It don't have to be a pillow, but something to support your spine.
Rich people and they go ahead.
I show you extra towels in your house. Okay. Yeah. Or a t-shirt.
I have them in rotation. I have a clean towel and a towel that's washing in preparation of being used. Continue.
Okay, we could. Yeah,
that's right.
Right.
So yeah,
right. When you're on your side, put something between your knees. What that's also going to do is help you from twisting in the bed because obviously when you lay in your bed, nothing between your legs. Naturally, your body is going to start to twist, or your spine is then going to be twisted while you sleep. You don't want that. So pillow between your knees, pillow in the curve of your neck to support your neck, and another pillow to support your head. Yes, I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise you,
make it this far. If sleeping now, don't get me wrong. I know that the sleeping on your stomach thing, as I've gotten older, I cannot sleep on my stomach, all right? Because I do wake up with intense back pain. Mm-hmm. But also sleeping on your stomach is how you prevent yourself from snoring. But it's on because
you got to choose your priorities. You worrying about snoring or you worrying about back pain?
I'm just saying. Yeah. All right? So anyway, it's a miracle that we made it this far.
And then, like I said as well, back then we didn't have a lot of the stresses that we have now. Now we have which you left or right-handed?
Right.
Okay. How do you hold your phone? You have your phone nearby. A lot of us now actually have indents in our finger because we use our phone so much. We have indentations in our finger from where the phone was. I could not have my phone in for 3 days and that indent is going to be there. So our bodies are starting to adapt to our new lifestyles. Even as far as, like I said, the text neck situation, that is something that is now being seriously considered a postural syndrome and something that the medical field is looking into and deciding whether or not it can be something that can be considered an actual diagnosis and something that people need to be treated for just because we are evolving. Our bodies don't go through the same things. We don't even eat the same way we used to back then. We have a lot of options. Right. So a lot of different things have affected the way we as humans have evolved, and with those evolutions, we have to also change the way we go about doing things.
Because kids, they have tablets from
babies.
As soon as they can hold onto a tablet, and they're not getting the same level of movement that they would have. And so I know that there are persons who the motor skills for younger kids are compromised because the kids, they only know about swiping, they don't know about grasping.
And even if you think about it, they are babies holding an iPad. An iPad is not light. An iPad is something that has weight. So having that and having it for long periods of time and then bending your neck over to look at it, it can do harm in the long run. So I think it's important. Like I said, education is important, not only for us, but for us to help with our kids or help with those who may not know better or may not be aware of the side effects of things that they do, thinking it's just normal everyday things.
I thought it was. All right, so earlier you said some of the things you guys treat are like things like migraines. Mm-hmm. Before we get to the list of what all you might treat, how may they relate to each other?
So
how does back health or spine health impact somebody having migraines?
So sometimes, like I said, the nervous system is housed throughout the spine. Nervous system controls your blood pressure, controls everything you do is controlled by a nervous system. So if there's a pinched nerve or if there's a misalignment somewhere along the spine, that can lead to tight musculature or it can lead to a number of different things. With that being said, as a chiropractor, we know, hey, this is not the way it should be. For example, you come in with a migraine. I'll check your neck to see how your alignment is. I'll take a history and figure out why the migraines are happening, how long it's been happening, what are you doing to trigger these migraines. So what we can do is we can do alignments. What the alignments will do is align the spine, take pressure off any nerves if there is pressure on nerves, and then we focus on the muscles to relax the muscles. Once again, water comes in handy because if there are toxins and what's not in those muscles, they need to be flushed out so that you can feel better after the adjustment. So people have migraines for different reasons. There are sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's different triggers can cause migraines. So each patient is going to vary with the reason for their migraines and then also vary with how they are treated in office. All patients don't have to get adjusted. There are some patients who are unable to be adjusted. So it's not just one set way to treat everybody. Everybody's going to vary.
Yeah. So, okay. So when you say adjusted, what exactly is adjustment?
So an adjustment is a spinal manipulation where we move bones manually.
Okay.
So the cracking sound that you hear when you go to a chiropractor or the popping sound people hear is not actually your bones being grinded together or your bones cracking. What's actually happening is there's gas that's in the joint because the bone was misplaced. So once that bone is back in place, the popping sound is just the gas being released from the joint. So that's what you hear. It's not the bone cracking, nothing to do with the actual bone itself, but more so gas being released from those joints.
All right. So now, once again, media is the only insight that people have into a lot of this stuff, right? And so online on Instagram, you see people doing all sorts of stuff where they yucking the people's neck, they twisting the people, the man standing on the woman, and then
extra loud sounds.
Right. So is that normal? Is that a part of a regular adjustment? How does that work?
It's not normal. It's not necessary. Most of it is for the dramatics to draw attention, gain views, but it's not necessary. Chiropractic is very specific. So when you get to the chiropractor's office, they are not going to just yank in two things unnecessary. Like I said, every patient is going to vary, but the yanking and the body slamming and certain things.
Wrap the towel around your head and then yuck your neck back.
And that's scary because some people see that on TV and then they try to do it themselves and then they end up in the office and it's like, how did you get here? So please don't follow what you see on YouTube. Please go to a chiropractor or go to a medical professional to deal with any pain or ailments you may have.
Right. So that's not, you're saying that's not a normal?
It's not normal, it's not necessary.
Okay. So when somebody comes in, I guess walk us through, the procedure to say, okay, this is what we need to perform on you.
Okay, so when you come in, what you're going to do is fill out an intake form. On the intake form, you're going to basically say what brought you in, your medical history, family history, and then we do some physical exams. So orthopedic tests to narrow down exactly what the issue is, neurological tests if necessary, posture screens if necessary, and then hands-on. So I'll touch the patient to just feel the muscle texture, to feel the alignment in the spine. Sometimes patients have muscles that are heated in the area, so you know that's something you need to focus on. So
like it's warm to the touch? Okay, that's weird.
You never had injury and
it was hot?
Yeah.
I thought that's just inflammation.
Yeah. Okay. So all of those things, but sometimes because patients are in pain or because they take medication or because they have had a heating pad on, they don't realize now because they've been trying to treat it themselves so long what exactly is going on. Their pain has become norm because they've been ignoring it for so long. So sometimes you have to dig deeper than what they tell you just because they've tried to manage it, not realizing that they could be leaving out important things for you in the process.
Okay, no problem. So, right, so persons like me with large heads, where you have this, reoccurring pain, not chronic pain, right? I would ask, what is the recommendation? So the question is, should persons come in before they have pain, or should they? That's not that serious to walk it off, or there's nothing wrong with me. I don't know if I need to get checked out, or should I wait for pain? My
main thing is pain is your body's alarm. Pain is telling you something is wrong. So whether it be the chiropractor, whether it be any medical professional, don't ignore pain. As Bahamians, we tend to do that. We tend to, let me drink some bush tea. let me just pop some pills, let me just ignore it, but that's doing more harm than good because now you've shut down your senses from reminding you there's pain and you can exacerbate the original cause of the problem.
Should I come to a chiropractor?
It depends.
Or post pain?
Some people come pre just for overall wellness and maintenance. Like I said, before they even have pain, if you work out, they'll come just to make sure their body's in tip-top shape to prevent injuries. But I would say spinal health is important. So I personally would go and get my spine checked out just before anything can potentially happen. But definitely once pain starts, go to someone and figure out what the issue is. Pain is an alarm and should not be ignored.
All right. So we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to ask you some more questions. You're watching and listening to Sidebar, 103 TheBeat podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back. Almost there.
Well has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eating well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at IlTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 TheBeat podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. Today we are here with Dr. Victoria Hutcheson, and we are talking about spine health. She's a chiropractor, and I still have multiple questions for you. So you know what? Let's just start. This was the question I had inside my head that I forgot. So this was years back, like 2 or 3 years ago. Well, maybe longer. Who knows? I'm not going to keep you time. I remember being like, oh, my back is in so much pain, right? And like, oh, I can't. It's like, I don't know why my back is in so much pain. And Erin Green, she's like, do you sit on your wallet? And I was like, yeah. She's like, take your wallet out your back pocket and then just,
see if it makes a difference.
And a day or two, pain gone, right? And it was like, here's a practice of something that I was doing to injure myself.
Not knowing.
That I was completely unaware of, right? And only because
you mentioned it one day, and she had
I mentioned it, right. I mentioned around her, and then she was kind of one of them holistic persons who were like, oh, this is this one. Are there any things that you see in the day-to-day, your day-to-day walk of life, you see Bahamians doing, and it's like, that's going to backfire, or you shouldn't do that thing? Because even things like, I remember that somebody's like, oh, like you don't realize the reason why people wear shoes is to prevent flat-footedness, because like once your arches start to get flat, that's when your feet hurt.
Yeah.
You know, like are there any other things that are out there?
Seeing women with heavy, big bags and carrying them on their shoulders, that can cause issues in the long run. Seeing kids with extremely big backpacks where they lean in, or
only one strap.
Right. That can cause issues as well. The sitting on the wallet, like you mentioned, being in our phones, having our phones to our head and constantly looking in our phones or looking down in our phones all the time, that can play a toll on your overall spinal health as well. So there's a number of things we do on a day-to-day basis. Those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. If I think of some along the way.
Is it like placing weight on the wrong part of the lever that is your spine?
So what it basically does is when you have undistributed weight, you throw off the alignment of the spine, which then can trickle down and cause other things. So it can cause spasms of muscles, it can cause sprains of muscles, it can cause extra pressure on the disc, it can cause a number of different things. So that's why prevention is so important, and keeping the spine aligned in the first place to prevent or to help manage when we deal with day-to-day stresses that we don't realize. Once the spine is aligned, at least it's less likely to cause damage, as opposed to someone who could have a spine that's misaligned, and then they're sitting on their wallet, and they helping their children carry their backpack, and they carrying the baby on their waist, and all of those things. So, yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, this is slightly not off topic, but like, there's also the things that we sit on. All right. Well, several things. I don't think anybody is the official distributor of Crocs, but let's pretend. All right. So I realized that they're for me.
Why?
Because I wear shoes to death. Like I'm not gonna throw away a shoe until there's a hole in it. All right, and I would feel my pelvis hurting, and it's just like, why is my pelvis hurt? And then I realized it only hurt when I'd be walking in my Crocs, because I'd eroded the support in it, right?
You might have worn the bottom of the shoe as well.
Right, because then I'm one of those people where the outside of the shoe goes first, right? As you decide to be over 350 pounds, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in that case, bare feet would be better than the Crocs if it has the wear and tear.
Only, yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Right. And so there's that. There's also sometimes you get these pains where you're sitting in certain chairs or whatever, where it's like the chair isn't, let's be honest, right? We live in the Bahamas. These department stores only buy chairs that are rated for 250 pounds, right?
Some of these schools too, when you go to the Christmas plays and stuff, and you're sitting there for long, like, oh my gosh, y'all couldn't do something about that.
Well, the thing is, they buy it for little children in America, right? And those children are not Bahamian children.
Right.
They're definitely not Bahamian adults. So I remember when scales only used to go to 250 pounds, right? And like, because they're like, nobody could possibly weigh more than that. And I was like, okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as somebody who, like, I used to be 430 at one point, all right?
Congratulations on your weight loss.
Sure. Again, it was more or less stress that got me down. But anyway,
the
stress got me down, and then let's not really talk about it. We're talking about that. So, like, are there recommendations for, because you say, okay, we're sitting in the car all the time. I know a lot of short people, they'll have an extra pillow so they can see above the thing. But like, do we need to start thinking about lumbar support for when we're in these places, or even getting like special seated cushions? If you're sitting all day, how do these things affect your spine? The furniture, the shoes, everything, they're built for they're perfect if you weigh 150.
Right, but not for the
But once
average.
you hit 200,
right.
now it's like this doesn't work as well. So as a chiropractor, do you find yourself recommending, hey, if this is a reoccurring issue, maybe you should adjust this?
Yes, definitely. So definitely lumbar support is something that I recommend to patients who sit for long periods of time, like office jobs and what's not. In cars, if you are going to be in traffic for a long period of time, then a lumbar support
Do you live out east? Then
No,
you
I
will
don't.
be. I'm saying, if you live out east, then you will be.
I feel like if you're on the road 8 o'clock in the morning, regardless, you're going to be in traffic. Because traffic be trafficking these days.
Yeah.
But yes, lumbar support, definitely recommend. Luckily now, more employers are being mindful of the wellness and health of their staff. So you have patients who come in for treatment and they be like, hey, you mind writing a letter for my boss to just let her know what's going on? And you write a letter to the boss and the boss be like, okay, and they give them a chair that has lumbar support. So luckily people are starting to gain more understanding of how important spinal health is and also implementing things that can help with their overall spinal health to prevent injuries from happening rather than waiting until the injuries happen and then having to deal with getting back to their norm.
Right, so back to the adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Does adjustment, because you're saying that most of the time it's not as over the top as we see on TikTok and Instagram, and does it hurt? What's it? Or, as I suspect, it's like a good neck crack.
Right, done properly.
Okay, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I tell people to compare it to is when you lay in the bed in the morning, you first wake up and you do that good stretch. When you first wake up in the morning, you feel like reset and refreshed.
We wake up very differently, but continue.
Okay, well, other people, when they wake up in the morning, sometimes when they do their stretch, they feel refreshed. So it feels like that. Sometimes also when you... trying to really think of there's no pain. There's no pain. The only time patients tend to feel pain is if they already came in pain. So if you come with spasms and you already tended to touch and things like that, it might be a little more sensitive for you, but then that's when we can do other things rather than a normal hands-on adjustment, something more gentle to help with the manipulation until the spine is able to take a normal adjustment. So no pain. No pain. You have patients who want to keep coming back. I thought it was going to be horrible. I was so scared, but get addicted in a sense to how it feels after the adjustment. So no pain is a great feeling. Patients feel relieved. They say they feel taller and lighter afterwards, but no pain.
Okay, I thought you were going to say no, they're not taller.
No.
I see now I'm torn between sciatica, and I wanted to ask you a question on that, but I'm going to circle back to that. So when you say persons, they're like, oh, it felt good to get adjusted. I imagine that if your body is out of alignment and then somebody put it back into alignment, then like, okay, there's a level of comfort, there's a level of, I've removed this pain from my life, right. So now I'm back at a normalcy. I think there are people out there who would be like, well, what if when you fix it, I gotta keep coming back to you because only you can fix it? Like, is that a concern that you have people saying?
It is a concern. Unfortunately, there is a misconception that once you go to the chiropractor, you have to keep going back to the chiropractor, and that's not the case, or that's not how it should be. Like I said, every patient is different. There are obviously some patients in the beginning you have to see more frequently just because it's an acute issue or something that is more complex, whereas you have some patients you can see them once and then see them a month later and then they come back because they want to, not necessarily because they need to. So every patient is different, but you don't have to keep coming back, but also keep in mind that it is a hands-on natural approach. So it's not going to be a quick fix sometimes. If you have pain, obviously we might have to do a little bit more work with you as opposed to someone who just tripped and fell and just wanted to make sure that everything was in alignment. So did I answer your question?
You did answer the question. Sure? Yes,
okay.
I'm okay. Satisfied with your answer.
All right.
But I wanted to ask you about, because when you were talking about back and the disc and all these different things, right, and nerves, I'm thinking about persons who are like, oh, I have sciatica pain, all right? Which is, I'm not a doctor, so it just generally feels like all in the same general area. Is that something that, well, first of all, what is that?
Sciatica.
Yeah.
Okay. So what sciatica is like, I wish I brought a model, but basically what sciatica.
That's the imagination.
Yeah.
And
Google
also,
it. Google
half
it.
of these people are on radio, so they can't see your hands anyway.
So sciatica is when the sciatic nerve, which is a nerve that exits the body right up low back around the area of the buttocks, exits the body and can be pinched or irritated. So
the coccyx, the coccyx?
So it's not as low as it's not the coccyx. The sciatica is actually a nerve. Okay. So coccyx is the bone, sciatica is nerve, but the nerve exits out of the bone called the sacrum, which is a triangle-shaped bone that is attached to the coccyx. So the coccyx is at the bottom of the sacrum. Okay. So yeah, pinched nerve, irritated nerve, that area is sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve runs down the leg, which is why you feel numbness and tingling down the leg, or sometimes in your buttocks area, or sometimes down to the feet. So
how does one, how do you get sciatica pain? How does one address that?
So misalignment of the spine can be one of the causes. For example, sitting on the wallet. When you sit on the wallet, what you do is have your sacrum twisted. That can then in turn cause to the spine being misaligned, which can cause pinching of nerves. So that can be one issue. The way we sleep, if we sleep on our side and constantly twisting the night, the body is twisted, can put pressure on the nerve and cause irritation of the nerve. So there's a lot of everyday things we can do to cause sciatic pain, which is why it's so popular, especially in our culture. Some things we can do to prevent that, like I say, stay hydrated, proper sleeping. Stretching is also very important. People think you only stretch when you go to the gym, but people can stretch every day. Even if you have a desk job and you just sit down, you can stretch it.
Sometimes I don't even stretch when I do that, but continue.
At least when you go to the gym?
Yeah.
At least you go to the gym, though. You try.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
I try.
Baby steps.
All right. So are there any risk associated with chiropractic care?
Risks?
Or like things that persons who this may not be the ideal treatment for them.
So patients who have weakened bones, fragile bones, patients who might have fusions of certain vertebrae, so spinal fusions and things like that. But
somebody like who probably had a previous fracture.
Right, or had a bad accident, had lots of hardware and what's not in that body cannot be a candidate, but there are also things we can do in office for patients who cannot have their spine manipulated. So just because you have one thing and you think you can go to the chiropractor does not only adjust. We use different modalities. We do stretching, grafting. I personally do acupuncture in my office.
What's grafting?
Grafting is like a soft tissue, so we scrape the muscle to try and break the muscle tissue up to help loosen
with the rod thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it for like persons who are autistic? No, never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Okay.
Continue. Yeah, so those are the different ways that you treat persons who may not be able to go through the regular adjustment. All right, so we're almost out of time. All right, so we're gonna take one more break. When we come back, and wrap up. This is Sidebar, a One TheBeat podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Styling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
Welcome back to Sidebar, one of TheBeat podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna with Dr. Victoria Hutcheson, and I'm going to let you get the final word.
Okay. My main takeaway, or the most important thing, I think, is to inform people that your spine is important. Let people know that pain is not something that should be ignored. Like I said, pain is your body's way of telling you that something is an issue. So regardless of where the pain is in the body, don't just brush it off and wait for it to go away. It's there for a reason. So go to a medical professional. It doesn't have to be a chiropractor. It could be any medical professional, but not just ignoring it. Chiropractic is not painful. It's nothing to be scared about. Lots of video on YouTube. You don't have to necessarily go and look at the extreme videos. They have some legit chiropractors out there. I have a TikTok page as well where I show adjustments in the office for people who are interested in an adjustment and what exactly the process is. Like I said, the sleeping positions is going to be very important. On your back, pillows behind your knees, on your side, pillow between your knees. Try to stay away from your stomach. And then water. Please, 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 especially us Bahamians in this heat, water is going to be very important for not only spinal health, but overall health as well.
All right. So how can persons get a hold of you or find you or contact you?
So my office number is 433-7067. You can WhatsApp, text, or call that number. I am also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, Island Chiro. And yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's me.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys so much for joining us. Once again, you're listening to Sidebar, a 103 TheBeat podcast powered by IlTV. I will see you next week.
But I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila like.
I win. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2, see the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3, enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at IlTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?